Okay. Hi, Michelle, Kelly. How are you guys doing?
Very
All
well.
right, David.
So today we have the privilege of having with us Amy Jethmal. Amy is here to talk to us about wellness in the time of COVID-19 and shelter at home and how we can all maintain a better level of fitness and sanity during these tough times. Amy, welcome to Talk.dance.
Well,
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
So, Amy, I wonder if you could tell us how, first of all, how maybe you are getting through this time. I know you have a family with a couple of young kids. How are you struggling or not struggling through this time of everyone kind of cooped up at home?
Yeah, well, it was interesting because when it all started, I was a little sick. I don't know if I had COVID, but my husband and I both had head colds, cough, headache, stuff like that. We weren't feeling great. We never had a fever, thank goodness. And it definitely went away. But yeah, when I actually got off work and, had to be sequestered at home, it was actually a good thing because I was, not feeling my best, as was he. The kids through this all have been great. They're like, just taking homeschooling like champs. My daughter's 14, my son is 10, almost 11. So they know how to make themselves ramen. They can, they can wash berries and get breakfast. So if I'm working or doing my thing, they're very self-sufficient. So in that way, we're like, I'm super grateful and I feel super lucky. My husband works from home already. So the only difference is that now I have to find a place to do my work because I'm still considered active at my job at Equinox.
Mm.
So, but all in all, pretty good.
And those in our audience who don't know, what is Equinox?
So Equinox is a luxury fitness club. We started off in Manhattan back in 1991. So we've been a company that's been around for a long time. We have 106 health clubs now, and I manage the one in Armonk. So it's a beautiful luxury fitness facility. We focus on the little details like eucalyptus cold towels and things like that.
Wow.
We have amazing trainers and group fitness. So it's a very, fun, upbeat business. I love it.
That's
Nice.
cool. Amy, so what are some, I don't know, what are some ways that we as dancers can not go crazy a little bit being all cooped up, because it's, you know what I mean, it's a touch industry, so to speak. And then now we're asked to not even be close enough to high five, much less touch. So
Yeah.
yeah, anything to any fun stuff we can do, or?
Absolutely. So I've been doing a few things at home, and that's what I want to talk mostly about. I'm also a dancer. I was a professional ballroom dancer, and I do miss the ability to certainly personal dance with somebody right now. The first thing I would say is mindset. We got to focus on your mindset while you're home. That's the thing that can kind of make or break you when you start to go down that rabbit hole of like what's going to happen, future, um, you know, what's going to happen with my job. There's a lot of uncertainty out there. So for me, I do a couple things for mindset. I do meditation daily. So I wake up, I start my day with that. I've been actually doing that for about a year now. So I felt like really lucky that I was already sort of in that habit, because when this came through, I was finding that was actually, I was doing longer sessions. But what's nice about it is it naturally reduces your blood pressure. Meditation is certainly obviously very calming, but it actually helps your brain talk to each other so that it can actually help boost your immune system. It's kind of crazy. It's a very cool thing. I don't know. Have you ever, any of you guys tried meditation personally?
Yeah, years ago, but I haven't recently, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
kind of
So
the
I
same.
would say first thing I would recommend to people is 5 to 10 minutes daily. There's the mindful movement, which has guided meditations. It's an app that I really love. I use that one frequently.
Oh,
I
what's the
also,
name of that again?
it's called the mindful movement.
Mindful movement.
Yeah.
Nice.
We'll
Then
be sure
there's
to put a link to that in the show notes.
And then there's stuff like Headspace, Calm, or Sam Harris has this one called the Waking Up app. And he does a free 30-day. So if anyone is a beginner and they want to try out meditation to see how that can help them with their anxiety and stress levels, I would certainly recommend, starting off with that free 30 days, because he really does kind of just teach you, and you go in very slow baby steps. So I know some people think, oh, I've got to sit there and do for an hour.
Yeah,
Which
right.
is,
You got to fold the legs, and it's
yeah, definitely not the case. Another thing that I'm doing is a gratitude journal. So
Ooh, that's fun.
yeah, I daily write in a gratitude journal. The thing about having gratitude is it gives you more joy and optimism in life. So that is another way to help your immune system. You're actually all those good endorphins and emotions that you're feeling actually do translate to lower stress hormones, like less cortisol in your body. We're not always in that fight or flight. So when you're feeling stressed out and you're like, oh, just thinking about the future or having that anxiety, by simply pausing, thinking about the things that you're grateful for, even writing them down on a regular basis, you're going to see a much lower blood pressure. You're going to see lower inflammation. You're going to boost your immune system, and you're also going to just have less cortisol, which is nice.
I would like to quickly interject on that, Amy, because it is so true. I would say right now I'm a little bit of a news nerd on this, and I'm watching a lot, and it's really it's intriguing, but it's really depressing. And there's a lot of tragedy all over the globe, and it is so important. So one of the things I love to do is I love to watch some of these videos when people are self-quarantining and self-isolating, because there's people dancing in their kitchen and doing fun things with their kids and playing games. And I have students that are sending me videos of them dancing in their living room with a glass of wine, and just something that makes you smile, that touches your world, and it's related to dance, right? So for all of us on the panel, that's a great way to bring some of that positivity. So whether it's watching or finding something, I'm doing it with my kids too. I have children as well, Amy, and my 16-year-old, of course, is loving this because, we don't have to go to high school. But aside from that, we still have to do our schoolwork. But I'm trying every day to have a moment where I'm like, tell me something positive about the day in the middle of this global crisis, right? Tell me something good about your day. Like, what did you do with your friends, or what did you find online? Or has to do a report right now about the new laws of COVID-19. So then we're having a conversation about the legal side and how it's affecting everything, but it still has a positive swing to it because we're talking and we're sharing information.
Yeah. And I think as dancers too, you're, and especially social dancers, you could be thinking about what I can't do,
Right.
so much, as opposed to what you can do. And I think that, in your own house, in your own living room, there are ways to move and dance as well. And like you said, dance around the kitchen with a glass of wine, whatever it takes to get you through. But just instead of focusing on that sort of negative, you turn it around, you say, I'm grateful that I get to do this. I'm grateful that I have that time with my kid to talk about this, and to maybe show them some dance moves at home, or, spend that time with my partner that maybe I wouldn't normally get to. So I think when you put a positive spin on it, and you feel more, and you are exhibiting, gratitude, your body chemistry does change, and it does help your immune system, which is great.
I love that idea as well. You're the second person who's mentioned this to me. Another dance friend, a professional dancer, was telling me how she's for some time now had this practice over dinner. They take a moment and talk about what they're grateful for, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that another thing that's just kind of funny, and I think dancers naturally do this, where I feel like most of the dancers I've known in my life have just been happy people. So I don't think it's so hard, but let's say you're in this moment of COVID-19 and you are scared and you're nervous or you're feeling sick, that actually smiling and laughing, even when you're not in that mood, actually does improve and make you feel better. So it actually does help boost your immune system as well. So just the act of actually smiling, even if it's for like a minute, just or laughing out loud, watching something funny, trying not to ingest the negative news and the negative social media, maybe even taking a break from it, and just allowing that to not be what you ingest, and smiling. So I think that, and like I said, dancers are typically, I think they're happier people because tend to be a little bit more joyful. I don't know, maybe I'm just looking at life that way. but I'm sure you guys agree. It's like you're doing something you love, you're moving with music, you know, you're connecting with other people regularly. So don't let that stop you from doing those things now and smiling and remembering, you know, to laugh.
Yeah. I will say during all this stuff, I mean, I've been active as a kid and as an adult and teaching dance and stuff. But honestly, with this extra time, I'm really teaching myself how to properly stretch, believe it or not. Like, as an athlete in high school and then afterwards, you know, you stretch, but it was always like, okay, this is the warm up or this is the whatever. It was never really like focus on that muscle, let it elongate, let it stretch, let it be ready. And so now I'm like, holy cow, I've been stretching, not necessarily wrong, but I haven't been focused on stretching for 40 some years now. So it's like, yeah, I'm definitely noticing a change in movement.
So we're going to see some high kicks out of you.
Oh man, easy. Hey. I think right now I might get to the knee, maybe the waist, but I think bop or anything. We're a long way from that.
Yeah, well, on that note, I've been doing for movement. You know, movement's another thing that you have to keep doing in order to stay healthy. So obviously as dancers, I'm sure that everyone's finding a way to do that. But even just walking outside in nature, 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day, they said that has huge effects on your ability to boost your immune system. I know my friend Talia Castropozo, she's heavy in the salsa world. She's doing online salsa classes, you know, out of her little living room space. And everything is, you know, so much free online stuff that you can do out there. You can learn some shines, you know, you could learn, you know, some footwork, fancy footwork, maybe for tango or something like that, that you know, maybe you will say, oh, I want to do that, but I don't have time to do it. Well, you know, now you have maybe some extra time. Take that time, and there's so much free content online.
I know, and it is a wonderful time to be able to see that and share that with my student base as well as others. Just even for myself, you know, if I just want to be inspired by something new, it's endless. There's so much available online right now.
Yeah.
To see
So
what.
Amy, I didn't know of Talia until I just yesterday saw a link on your website.
Oh, okay.
To her, and I checked her, and she's lovely. I really like her spirit and everything. So I'm going to be.
You got to have her on your Talk.dance. She's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, no, she's been doing salsa. She'll do like a lot of the pier salsa at the pier in the city, Chelsea Piers, Bryant Park. She's done ballroom at Bryant Park. They have a series, usually a 6-week series. Again, a lot of this stuff is currently canceled or, you know, on hiatus. I know the Bryant Park thing she's done now for maybe 5 or 6 years, and it's been very successful.
Bryant Park in Manhattan.
In Manhattan, yeah.
Yes.
Manhattan, yeah.
So I love the idea. I'm a big fan of hiking. I really enjoy getting out and seeing the outdoors, and that's a great option for some of us who are lucky enough to be either in suburbia or more rural areas. What you would suggest for people that are in a place like Manhattan or like Kelly in Chicago, where
really strict lockdown here,
those options aren't really available to people?
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, there's so much content online. I know that you know, a lot of times if you are in an apartment or a smaller space, you might be able to get some small weights and do some, you know, resistance training that way. They're running HIIT classes, high intensity interval training classes online. Usually those you only need to do 25, 30 minutes to really get, you know, a good workout out of it. I'm personally doing a lot of online yoga. I love yoga. I feel like it's a great complement to dance. So I did this great class with yoga by Adrienne, or with Adrienne, I think it's her name, online. And she's got just a ton of stuff. She's also an actress, but she's just got some lovely classes, and they're usually outdoors. So you kind of get the feeling that you're outside, you know, taking this class with her, and because you're hearing like the birds chirping. And,
oh, that's
you know,
cool.
Yeah, so
yeah, I never
not every class is like that, but
like,
you know, some of it's yeah. But yeah, I feel like you know, in any space, in any small space, there are ways to move and be active. And you know, also times I think that we force ourselves to do too much. Like, you know, we're so used to being on that hamster wheel and like having to do 1,000 things in a day. Like, this could be a good time to actually take it down a notch, and let your body, rest and recover and regenerate. Maybe not every day that you do a high intensity interval class, or that you do, a cardio workout for an hour. Maybe you do a half an hour of yoga, or you go for that, walk around your block or the neighborhood. So people go up and down their stairs for exercise, I know. So,
And you know what, I will tie into the Canadian side of this, as I'm the only Canadian on the panel right now, is that we have the same lockdown, but of course our federal government just came out with projections just on Friday, which is letting us know that, we're in this for a little while, which I'm sure is across the Americas, we know. But I think really for me, it's one thing to do what you said, Amy, and the first couple of weeks were a little bit of and a little recharge and sort of like, okay, and just regroup and figure out. But I think we all might have thought we would have been going back to life and normality at some point sooner than what we will be.
Yeah.
And so I feel like within this last week or two, and I do believe watching enough of the States news that we're about on the same track, that we're in this for a little while. So I feel like this podcast, David, is going to be well timed, because it's one thing to have done what we've all done, but now with us that have children, we know that we're on an online system, and it's all e-teaching now at this point. And then for us that are not working or working from home, we all have new structures to set and new schedules to achieve, and it needs to include this wellness perspective, which is what Amy is guiding us through. So a little bit of meditation and a little bit of dance at home by yourself, learn a new shine, so many different things. For those of you that don't know what a shine is, you need to get Googling on some shines. This is a great way to have a spotlight moment for yourselves in dance, whether it be salsa or bachata or any dance. But shines are great, and they let you work on those at home. So you can do those all by yourself, in your kitchen, in your driveway, in your backyard.
Not to mention Latin technique, right?
Oh, so much. It's endless. It's endless. It doesn't matter what your genre of dance is, just pick one.
Right.
But so many different things, right? Whether you're meditating a little bit, stretching like Kelly was talking about.
Yeah.
My goodness, it does remind us, as soon as we become quiet, all of a sudden our muscles go, oh yeah, you want to feel this? And then life gets a little bit more challenging. So there's many things that we can all do, and this is a great time to reevaluate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other thing I want to ask you about, Amy, is about diet. So there's all these memes going around the internet about kind of the before and after the shelter at home, right? With people being somewhat more sedentary usually, and gaining weight, and maybe just not eating as healthy because of the buying patterns. You're not getting maybe to the grocery store as often, maybe not getting as many fresh fruits and vegetables. Is there any advice you'd have, some simple tips as to things people could focus on in regard to diet?
No, absolutely. I mean, I'm a huge proponent of eating well. I know that I usually don't go to the grocery store once a week. I usually go 2 to 3 times a week, because I like to get things fresh. So I don't typically buy a ton at a time. So having to go, even once a week or less than that has definitely been a challenge. I will find that, well, obviously for nutrition, I don't know, I'm sure everyone's heard this, but you got to eat the rainbow, right? So you got to get all your vitamins. If you can't do that, the next best thing is to supplement. So my first advice is always eat fresh as much as possible. If you have frozen, that's great too. I know I went to the grocery store just the other day. I tried to find some frozen vegetables, and many of them were out. So, people were stocking up. So, luckily the fresh is actually still there. It just means that, you eat it up, and then, you have to either wait or supplement. So I definitely, I'm a big believer now in supplements. I really didn't used to be. When I was dancing and I was younger, I really didn't think too much about it. I felt like my health was really good. But I have found that since I've started supplementing, vitamin D3, super important, especially if you're not getting outside in the sun on a regular basis. If you're in cold climates and, you don't have exposed skin to the sun, That's a huge problem because when your vitamin D levels go down, your immunity also goes down with it. So you really have to build up those numbers. I was severely low last year, so I started supplementing because I have an indoor job. I'm indoors most of the day.
Yeah.
And, you know, I would get out and sometimes it would already be night. So it was hard to catch the sun. So I started supplementing and now my numbers are back up. I'm doing that. Vitamin C, so lots of fruits, citrus. You want to, you know, obviously I've seen oranges are at the grocery store. You know, I'm seeing a lot of kiwi is amazing for you. So if you can get some of those fruits in, even if it's frozen fruit that you were able to find and pick up and do a smoothie or thaw some out and have some on your oatmeal or cereal in the morning, that would be amazing. I would say avoid sugar as much as possible. I know that's super hard. I have a hard time with that one myself. But it actually like curbs, you know, the cells that are trying to kill off your, you know, like the infections. So when you have a lot of sugar, it actually sort of clamps down on that, so they're not able to control that as well. So maybe if you do have sugar, just limit it to maybe a little bit at night or a little bit in the morning, so you're not like eating sugar all day long. And then alcohol, everyone's drinking right now, right? But alcohol is
It's the biggest case of day drinking I've ever seen in my life. Like it's nuts.
It's bad. Yeah. It's not good for you. So, you know, it's not great for your immune system. I mean, I would say just limit it. You know, you got to be smart. Try not to be day drinking every day.
I just saw a post on Facebook about something like what's going to happen when our children are adults. They're learning from online and their parents were drinking while they were learning. Like it was a funny little play on Facebook about the reality of quarantine, right? We're isolated, we're at home, and it changes, right? These things are so important that you're talking about, Amy, because you need to maintain this motivation and that encouragement to just stay moving, get outside, get some fresh air, move your body, meditate, read a book, dance.
Eat well. Yeah.
You know, eat well. All of these things are so important. I've been cooking a lot because of that eating. Obviously there's lots of time, but making things deliberately really rich in vegetables and different things like soups and different things that I can put in the freezer and know that I have homemade food as a choice rather than something not. So just different options that all tie into wellness and activity and, you know, getting all those vitamins that we need.
Yeah, if you follow nutrition at all, you'll see a huge, a lot of people talking about the gut health.
Yes.
Right. A leaky gut, things like that. And so I've listened to a lot of podcasts and I follow along with all of that literature that's out there. And one of the things that I've just started trying is bone broth. So bone broth is supposed to be excellent for healing your gut. So that's something that I've also included in my diet recently. And it's just like they have and this, I saw it right at Stop and Shop. They had one that had like turmeric and ginger. So it wasn't just like plain beef broth, you know, it was, or beef bone broth. It had like some nice touches to it. And I just drank it like soup, right? You know, like out of a mug. It was delicious. So, you know, I highly recommend that as well. And like I said, I do supplementation. I sell isotonics, which is a powder that you mix with water. So all the vitamins that I take are like that. And it's kept me really healthy. I really hadn't been sick up until, it was funny, I hadn't been sick up until this COVID thing came through. So, you know, if I did have it and my immune system wasn't as strong, I feel like I could have had a worse time. So really
you hear about that with a few people these days right now, which is relevant, Amy, just like what you're saying, is that there's people that have been under the weather, or, I had something, I didn't really feel fantastic. And, you know, without a test there, you know, unless you go and get that antibody test that they're talking about now, which would give indication. But aside from that, I think people are going through it and that's still not in our numbers, right? So we don't really know what the status is or even what you went through. Even though you're better, it was because your immune system was in high gear taking care of you.
Exactly. Yeah, and I really hope that's what the world and the country really focuses on beyond this, is more preventative self-care. and just really learning and knowing what to do. And I mean, Americans, I don't know, we have a pretty terrible diet, when you look across the board. I don't know about Canadians.
That's the nicest way I've heard that put. No, we have a horrible diet, like myself included.
Yeah.
Amy's winning the diplomacy award today. She's being very sweet. That's usually my card, Amy. I'm always the one that's very diplomatic with everything. But Kelly, you're cracking me up back there, because every time we talk about alcohol or stretching or food, you roll back in your chair and start chuckling. So give me.
Can't help it, man.
He's taking full advice of these smile a lot and often and broadly. And he's
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Hey, listen. I'm the beautiful package here in the corner. It's like everyone loves
Yes,
this
you
beautiful face. No one cares what's inside. You know what I'm saying?
So, I was looking forward to us recording this podcast for most of the day. One, because I really want to hear what you had to say, Amy, but two, it's just a joy, especially now, to spend some time online seeing other people.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of another element about how we maintain our emotional well-being, that human connection. I think all of us here on this podcast are fortunate enough that we're not sheltering in place completely alone. So we either have family members or a roommate or something like that. Not everyone is that fortunate. I feel that we're very fortunate that we live in the time where we do have these kind of online video call technologies available to us. I don't know if you have anything you don't want to say about that, Amy.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean,
Human connection.
I meet with my team from work, many of which are inactive, but we meet once a week, and it is really a highlight. I did that earlier today. I had a Zoom call with some of my best friends from California, which we realized, why don't we just do this regularly anyway? Like just seeing their faces brought me so much joy and happiness that we have to take advantage of the technology that we have right now. And I have trainers that are doing virtual training sessions with clients, and they're able to earn a little extra income that way. So I know, I'm sure professional dance instructors right now would really love the support of people continuing their lessons as best they can. It is possible. I've done it. I've learned online. It's not something that you can't do, but I think you've got to take advantage of it and maybe build it into your schedule. Like Michelle was saying, you have to create the new work from home, stay at home, quarantine schedule, and schedule in that time for yourself. A little extra time in the morning to meditate, a little extra time to do a gratitude journal, maybe before bed or at night. You start incorporating these little things. And again, I wouldn't say do all of them at once. Habits are hard to create, but pick one that makes sense for you and start it. And you'll see, I'm sure you'll see the changes that'll be really good for your body and your mind. Most importantly.
My hope is that these changes carry through for people, right? You think, you know what, Kelly, I don't want you to just stretch while you're in quarantine. I want you to stretch forever, because you need to stretch as a dancer and as a person and just in all ways. So all of these things hopefully will just infuse new wonderful habits to be better in every way, right? On your own, with your partner, in your job, with everything. So they're just, we're forced into this, and we have to find ways to survive and stay sane, because there does come a little insanity with all of this.
Yeah.
It's funny how much you miss. I had one student tell me that. She goes, I know we've always loved dance, but I didn't realize how much until you miss it. And it was the sweetest thing, because it's not just about the step or the lesson or anything. It's about the social aspect. And David and I have shared conversations that as much as we love the online world that we're in, like you were saying, Amy, that's just a supplement too. That's not really the authentic touch of what this is all about. Being able to teach someone and watch them and encourage them and help them in person in the studio, or have a social dance and be able to incorporate that. So all of these efforts in the meantime are only for us to get back to that wonderful new normal, as though it will still be normal, but there'll be some new touches.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
Looking forward to that day.
Yes.
Well, Amy, I just want to say thank you so much. I've been inspired by some of the tips you shared. I'm definitely going to try some of those out myself. we'd love to have you back again sometime, maybe share some more ideas as this whole situation continues to develop. But that was very helpful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's really been a pleasure to meet you all and to see you on Zoom. And I appreciate the time. And I hope that I did help inspire somebody out there to do something different, right?
Absolutely.
That's all about. Thank you. So nice to meet you, Amy.
Yeah, Amy, just real quick, how would somebody get a hold of you, really?
Right. So I'm on Facebook. My web page is, or my Facebook page is Sunshine46. So I just started that. That's actually when David saw that posted, he thought, I guess, to have me on, because I am doing more of a wellness page right now. Amy Jethmal is my name, and I'm also on Instagram under A Jazzy Jet.
Nice. I love it.
Oh, jazz hands to boot. Very sweet.
Love it.
I still
wanna
love
hear the
jazz
story
dancing.
behind that name sometime. Well, thanks again, Amy.
You got it. Thank you so much, everybody.
Stay well.